Hey, how you doing? Welcome to My Nation. My name is Josh Judd. Let's just jump right in. We'll start off with the recent Iran nuclear deal. I believe is President Obama's biggest accomplishment within his 8 years, and a lot of people would probably disagree with that statement. But I think it's avoiding a potential catastrophic engagement in Asia that could last, the consequences of which could last for decades. So I believe that this is a great accomplishment. I'd be lying to you if I tell you I know all the ins and outs and the details of this agreement. I don't even think most of the professional political commentators would be able to give you that. But based on my understanding, we've gained access to the Iranian nuclear facilities. In trade for that, we are suspending our trade sanctions against them. So it basically gives us an eyeball inside Iran to watch what they're doing and basically observe their development of a peaceful nuclear program, and that's the goal, to be able to be allowed and see what's going on there. And I think the real key is it's not to end Iran's nuclear dream of developing nuclear power, or maybe even someday a nuclear weapon. But I think the real hope here is that while we are in there and watching, we can delay the production of a weapon long enough to maybe we see an end to the Iranian theocracy and maybe a republic, a true republic, take place in Iran. So I think that's the hope. What I'll do is I'll transition over to BBC's coverage, so give you a little bit more of a detailed picture of this deal and some of the thoughts from foreign leaders.
Finally, after more than a decade of on-off negotiations, agreement has now been reached between the major world powers and Iran on curbing its nuclear program. The aim to prevent Iran building atomic weapons.
I believe this is a historic moment. We are reaching an agreement that is not perfect for anybody, but it is what we could accomplish. And it is an important achievement for all of us. Today could have been the end of hope on this issue, but now we are starting a new chapter of hope.
Iran has always insisted its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only. But under today's deal, all these facilities are to be scaled right back, with the aim of making it impossible for Tehran to build a nuclear weapon quickly if it ever decided to do so. UN inspectors will monitor these sites, and if the agreement's violated, then any sanctions which have been lifted will be reimposed.
We have stopped the spread of nuclear weapons in this region. Because of this deal, the international community will be able to verify that the Islamic Republic of Iran will not develop a nuclear weapon.
In return, the crippling sanctions imposed on Iran in recent years will be lifted. This will include releasing more than $100 billion from frozen Iranian assets. For some of the West's most important allies in the Middle East, all this amounts to far too many concessions to Iran.
Our concern, of course, is that the militant Islamic State of Iran is going to receive a sure path to nuclear weapons. Many of the restrictions that were supposed to prevent it from getting there will be lifted. And in addition, Iran will get a jackpot, a cash bonanza of hundreds of billions of dollars, which will enable it to continue to pursue its aggression and terror in the region. And in
I love that right at the end there. Bibi Netanyahu, that's classic. We can unfreeze these assets in order to be able to get what we want, but Bibi's going to spin it as, handing over Iran hundreds of billions of dollars. It's basically their money. We're just suddenly giving them access to it, unlike Israel, where we actually provide them $3 billion a year, pretty much in the free and clear. But obviously, I understand, Bibi Netanyahu's point on this. Israel is very concerned about the acquisition of these weapons by Iran, and rightfully so, based on previous statements by Iran. However, when you have they're in a position where they're developing the technology, they're going to get it at some point, so you have to make the call. Do we negotiate or do we go war over this? And I think with all parties concerned, the negotiation is probably going to be the most beneficial for the United States, and that's the real key here. How is this benefiting us the most? So that is the nuclear situation, the nuclear deal that has been accomplished by President Obama and I should say Secretary of State Kerry as well, a large hand in that, and job well done. Moving on to the 2016 election. Everyone's getting pumped, loving the Republican clown car and everything that's going on the Republican side, trying to figure out who's serious, who are the serious players and who are just the hacks that are going to fall away, probably before the first primary. With that said, I think that just leaves us to the obvious individual that's probably going to fall away first, but is generating the most headlines, of course, Donald Trump. Not a serious candidate, folks. I would be shocked if Donald Trump makes it onto the first primary. I would be absolutely shocked and amazed if his name is actually on that ballot. With that said, I have actually considered, and this was before George Will had said it, that he is actually a Democratic National Party plant in the Republican primary, because he is saying all the wrong stuff for the Republican Party, and George Will basically said the same thing. You see it on the following clip.
Experiment. If Donald Trump were a Democratic mole placed in the Republican Party to disrupt things, how would his behavior be different? I don't think it would be. There's all this loose talk, but it's something to it about the Republican brand. Picture him on stage in Cleveland. He says something hideously inflammatory, which is all he knows how to say. And then what do the other 9 people on stage do? Do they either become complicit in what he said by their silence, or do they all seriatim have to attack him? The debate gets hijacked. The process gets hijacked. And at the end of the day, he is a one-man Todd Aitken. I mean, he's Todd Aitken with 10 different facets. That's the gentleman who in the 2014 election said some unfortunate things about rape, and every Republican was asked about him from then on.
Okay, so there you have it. George Will calling Donald Trump a potential mole, a Democratic Party mole in the Republican primary. That, I can't... of course, this was on Fox News, so I'm sure they are not going to spin it the way I'm going to spin that statement. You have to quantify that. That's like you're on a little league baseball team, and the kid that always strikes out is about to get up, and of course everyone looks at each other. He's going to strike out. It's going to be the worst. But instead of everyone feeling that way when he gets up, everyone starts cheering for him. And that's the situation the Republican Party is in right now. You have George Will, one of the most trusted conservative members of the Republican Party for decades, telling you that this guy's a potential mole, but he's actually in second. He's running in second right now in current polls for the field of Republicans for the primary. So that statement, those numbers are just... that's just a wow. So before I leave you all together, I'll leave you just with some classic Donald Trump statements to show you guys that this guy's all about saying whatever is going to make him money. Whoever he's speaking to at the time, he'll tell you he wears ladies' underwear if he's going to get money out of it. So I'll leave you with this.
I think Hillary would be a terrible president. She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president? Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I mean, I'm a little biased because I've known her for years.
You support her?
I don't want to get into this because I'll get myself into trouble. But I
That's
just
why
like
I asked
her.
you to see me get into trouble.
I just like her. I like her, and I like her husband. Some people would say he's incompetent. I would not say that. Yes, I would. I think Tim Geithner's done a good job. I think that the whole group has really done a good job. When you look at what's happened. I mean, at least we have an economy. You wouldn't have had an economy had they not come up with some very drastic steps 2 years ago. I'm almost more disappointed with the Republicans. They have to toughen up on Obamacare, which is a total lie and which is a total and complete disaster.
Healthcare.
Liberal on healthcare. We have to take care of people that are sick.
Universal health coverage.
I like
for the nation.
universal. We have to take care. There's nothing else. What's the country all about if we're not going to take care of our sick? Let me tell you, everybody wants to pay as little as possible, including Warren Buffett, by the way, despite what he says. And somebody said, what's your tax rate? I don't know. I pay as little as possible. I would tax people of wealth, of great wealth, people over 10 million by 14.25%. this tax would raise approximately $5.7 trillion, which happens to be our national debt. Well, I'm very pro-life and feel strongly about it. I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion. I hate it. I hate everything it stands for. I cringe when I listen to people debating the subject. But I just believe in choice.
Wow, that guy will say anything if you pay him enough. So to my Republican friends out there, there are far better candidates than Donald Trump. Jeb Bush comes to mind, Rand Paul, Chris Christie. These are serious individuals with serious political experience that you should be taking a look at, and you can leave this sideshow car clown to where he belongs, which is firing people on his television show, which is now canceled. So just hope you enjoyed it. First time out. And again, I will start following things and discussing things based on the comments that are left. I love to be able to bring up things that people want to hear about so we can get into it in a little bit more detail. But I hope you enjoyed it.